the main event was Yordenis Ugas and Abel Ramos. I'm sure if you look this fight up, it'll say it was a split decision. I don't know what the fuck that is. There's no way Ramos won the fight in a million years. It just didn't happen. Ugas is one of the... He's sort of like 6th man of the year kind of deal, you know? He's like first off the bench as far as elite welterweights. You know, you think about Errol Spence, Crawford, Thurman, Porter, Pacquiao, and Danny Garcia. Ugas is right after that. Like, this guy is right under the very elite, and the only reason he's not in the elite is because he hasn't beaten one of them. And so they read the first scorecard. Before I talk about the fight, I'll tell you about the fucking scorecards. I watched the fight later at night. It was like 1 a.m. And I think the first time I watched it, I had it like 10-2 for Ugas. And they read it, and the first guy's got it 9-3 for Ramos. And I remember I was just like, I can't deal with this at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. I cannot deal with more bad decisions this fucking late at night. Like, I can't deal with it. They read the next two. It's 115, 113 for Ugas, and Ugas gets the fight. But in my mind, I'm like, those are awful close, huh? 7-5, 115, 113 for a fight like that. It didn't make sense to me. So I went back. I watched it Monday morning. Went to watch it again. And it was a little closer than I had remembered, particularly down the stretch. And, you know, those Fox announcers, they can get a little on the tip where once they've decided the narrative of the fight, they kind of stop watching the fight. And they just sort of go with what that narrative is. Like, if it's going one way, one guy's more well-known than the other, or the betting favorite, or whatever, you know, they're more... I feel like of all the networks, they're the most inclined to sort of go with that narrative style of commentating where you're not entirely watching the fight anymore. And I think they were doing some of that in the back end of the fight, because I watched it this time and I felt like, obviously I still feel like Ugas won clear, but the second time I watched it, I scored it 8-3, and I thought that Ramos won the last, I think, 3 rounds. Don't quote me on that, but it was the last couple. And he almost knocked him out at the end of the fight. There was 5 seconds left. He clipped him, got him buzzed. His legs were a little wobbly. So that time the 7-5 didn't seem all that crazy to me, because it was like, you know, if he's winning these last 3 rounds, he's being busier, you know, there's maybe 2 more in that first 9 that you could find, maybe. So luckily the right guy got the decision, but if I'm Ugas or I'm in his corner or whatever, I'm not happy with this performance. You know, he looked great. His skills looked great. But he got caught with some weird shit that he should not have been getting caught with. I think he looked a little complacent. Just a little complacent. Because this guy is not really on his level. And I think he got into a certain gear where it's like, if I can do just enough and not really get hit, you know, I can win these rounds. I would have loved to see him more active with his power punches. You know, he threw so many jabs. He's got the best double jab in the whole division. That's my opinion. Ugas has the best double jab in the whole division. Just bouncing it right off your head. The first one's lighter, the second one's harder, and then he follows it up. But it's pop, pop. Every time he throws it the same fucking way. And it's the best in the division. But I kind of felt like there was just these long stretches where he would just sort of be picking off what Ramos was doing and not really coming back. I'm talking about the last 3-4 rounds. I would have liked to... And Ramos is a good fighter. That's a good opponent, you know. So, respect to Ramos. But as far as Ugas, you know, fighting the elite welterweights, this would make me want to fight him a little more if I saw this fight. The Porter fight, maybe not so much, because I thought he beat Sean. But if I'm watching this fight, I'm like, yeah, I got this. If I'm Danny Garcia, if I'm Crawford, you know. But I hope this guy gets his shot. I hope this guy gets his shot sooner than later. He's 34 years old. I think his skills are as good as they're going to be. Maybe he'll get a little better. It does seem like he's continued to add tools even in his 30s.
But yeah, I want this guy to get his shot now. I just don't think this performance is a good indicator that, that he's explosive enough. I don't know if he's got the explosive power to beat elite welterweights. He's got the defense and the skills to compete every round for 12 rounds, though. No doubt about it. And maybe somebody a little flimsier or somebody who hasn't been active, he can catch him slipping a little bit. But yeah, I think regardless, he's one of the best in the whole division. And I think he's a problem for anybody. This just was not his best night. And I think that the commentators sort of let him slide on the back end of that fight just by going with the narrative.